join Crow and Rostavan, you have found the kind of seedy underbelly that any port town has, especially one as bristling with merchants and sailors as the port of the Nameless. The area here seems quiet, but that's only appearances. Behind any door lurks any type of business or person, unlikely or otherwise. Um, Most people know to stay away from this corner or to know exactly where you're headed. But we will join the two of you. I'm kind of walking down these darkened paths as the height of the buildings kind of prevents the light from filtering down to you.
On the way, Crow's going to inquire, completely out of the blue.
How ancient be thee?
Rostwan's gonna finish eating his Oreo.
Black and white cookie.
No, it's an Oreo, not black and white cookie.
Oreo.
Yeah, black and white cookie's like a big cookie.
Speak!
He'll look over at Crow and say, about as old as any... Wait, what do you mean?
Thy curse. Ye be a witch.
Oh. The curse is very old. I'm not so old.
He turns away confused by this, and then looks back at you.
It was passed down. Inherited, you might say.
Why doth thou not simply put hands to man to light a flame?
Well, do I need empathy for this guy? I don't know what the fuck you were talking about.
No, it's generally my trouble aspect.
What are you asking exactly?
He'll look at your confused face, and the person who misunderstands him the most frustratedly gesture his hands. He says,
Thou touchest objects, cast bombs. Thou do not put thy hand to others to induce flame. Why?
I mean, I do that. It just, it requires, well, some of it requires someone's life force, whether willing or after they've passed on. It's a bit difficult to explain.
Canst thou show?
I could, but I think I'd be going against the orders that we were given by Rakote to not completely set this place up.
Welp. If thou art strong, I can do as I please.
Yeah, but they have a saying about shitting where you eat, and I've already done that once, and it landed me on an island full of rats.
Thou mayest not have choice soon.
and he'll turn towards a alley labeled Crime Alley.
Yeah, you see Batman's parents. Do you stop them?
Of course
Do
not.
you stop his parents from killing Batman?
Why did you say that name?
Yeah, Batman's parents hold guns to Batman. We don't stop them, though. No.
I think what can call your attention, there's kind of two directions here, and just to kind of metagame, there is a street to your left that leads towards the violent men, and there's the street to the right that leads towards the pickpocketing, the thieves, the den of those kinds of people. So which of those two would you pick?
There's signs that
No.
one picks a guy out.
Points you to the
hand into a
pickpocketing
pocket.
thieves.
The other
Yeah.
one has two knives crossing over. And
Here's what it is. You hear a steady gunshot to the path down your left, and to your right you see a few furtive shadows kind of peek and then disappear.
Well, I'm the most violent man, so I have to go where
I'll go
where they know
there.
my name.
I'm not much of a thief, really.
All right, fair enough. Then it is the crack of a single flintlock pistol that leads your way as you hear a shot, and after a few seconds, another. And as you get closer and closer, you eventually round a corner to see a group of 20 men, and one of them is just standing against a stone wall, completely covered in bullet wounds. But in the center of it, he just stands, his arms kind of shaking to his side as the other 19 take turns shooting alongside his perimeter. But the man stands still and just faces forward.
I just walk into the crowd as if I belong as part of the spectacle, and I stare.
Yeah, you get a few looks, but no one really raises much of a stink about it as the remaining 10 men, one after another, fire. And there's a moment where it seems like the man is going to break. And then he does, as he just kind of throws himself to the ground when a bullet comes very close to his temple. And he just kind of keeps his head down, cradling it as he looks to the stone floor. That was close. But you knew better. Go on. The man will just sit still and look up, and he will find no kindness in the eyes of the other as he stands and just kind of dejectedly walks away. The crowd refusing even to part for this man as he is forced to go down a secondary alley and kind of stoop. And then he is gone.
I turn to the person adjacent to me and just say,
He has failed.
Yeah. Not surprising, though. Not everyone's got it. Speaking of, and then you'll see kind of all 18 remaining eyes turn on you, too. Can't say I've seen you before.
Yeah,
Nay.
from out of town.
I've heard that. But this is a very special kind of gathering. There are rules for this kind of thing.
What is thy code?
They will just say honor and strength above all else.
there's
Wow.
a breath that
Go
puffs out from under Crow's bandana, and he looks around at their general builds and says,
Strength. Aye. What know thee of honor?
He will look at you plainly and say, I know I'd die rather than rat these fine men out. That's our code.
And a fine code it is.
Well, if you agree, maybe you'd like to demonstrate. He'll point towards the wall.
Crow's heart beats in his ears, and after a long look directly into the eyes of everyone around, he'll walk toward the wall and place himself against it.
There's only one rule in this. No moving. You do that, you can follow after the other. And you'll see as the 18 men begin loading their single-shot pistols. There's kind of just a quiet moment as a few people lend their gunpowder and go through the motions. And then what follows is going to be 3 attacks contested by your will. It's going to be a 2, a 3, and then a 4.
Are you all ready to see the lowest wills you've ever seen in your lives?
You can, of course, concede at any time, but, well, before. If you commit to a roll, let me know, and then I'm going to roll it, and you have to roll will against that. And then once that's resolved, you can you can concede. So, challenge rolls 2, 3, and 4. As the first group of men take their position.
Of course.
Okay, 1 will damage.
His head flicks the slightest bit as brick chips off the building behind him.
Okay. The first battalion falls.
That might be noticeable for one stress. His eyes dart toward it, but quickly forward again.
Yeah, there's one man who snickers, but the other one's just to look at him, and he goes quiet again as the next group lines up. Challenge of 3.
Tree.
Okay, 2 stress. I know where this is going.
I hate you, Crow, so fucking much.
Shot in the head.
That's my nightmare, by the way, is like laughing and then nobody else joins in and you just have to quiet yourself down. I feel for that guy.
And despite the continual racket in this gunfire, there is nothing. It is a silent little corner of the port. As a Crow, the bullets land ever closer. There's even a moment where you can feel this stone kind of chip against your hand, kind of splintering against it. And then there's the final battalion, a group of 8, that are all marking their spot and ready to fire.
I'm going to try to create advantage in advance.
Yeah.
And I'm hopefully going to modulate the challenge with this, but he's going to say...
Okay.
Knowest the green-eyed sailor they hunt for unleashing the beast upon the weary crew?
One of the men will just say, "Yeah, I heard Flintlock did that. Flintlock hadn't been around for years. What's it to you?" says another one, looking at you, Crow.
I'm going to roll... this is very brave of me, because it's certainly going to fail, but he's going to roll a provoke, letting his green eyes fill in the rest of the picture.
Okay, let me think about the challenge real quick.
That Scuttler probably dropped their will to like a -1. If
I mean, it's a group of like criminals. I really feel like I have to put it at a 2 at least.
Now, everybody watch as my dice don't even allow me to fate point this to a success. Okay, I can.
Okay.
I'll take Phantom of... Or no, that Predator... maybe Phantom of the Red Tide, given that he's currently touting a reputation thing he did, so the shot is of him, like, standing, looking larger against the wall than he is.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially since you call out the blue eyes, that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, works for me.
Alright, I'll create Intimidation.
Yep.
Or Air of Menace.
Yeah, there
20. Why has my connection to server been interrupted?
It sounds like your voice is dropping out too.
This is a little robotly.
I understand you perfectly, Sean.
Okay.
I understand what I have to do. No.
If you
I
could
know
kindly
what I have
restart
to do.
the track,
but I don't
because
have the
it
strength
is
to do it.
unhelpfully frozen at 4:33 due to Roll20 not functioning
Yeah, you
as a
got it.
site.
Oh, I didn't even know there was music playing.
It was Pretty
it's light.
ambient.
Yeah. Oh wait, that wasn't the right one. This is a fucking dungeon. I'm gonna play some rat sounds. You know what's coming.
Just play that one song from Super Mario Bros. 2.
Horrifying.
All right, I will utilize my free invocation of Air of Menace
Okay.
to take another one will stress. Okay, I managed
There
it.
we go. Okay. Perfect. So you will say that, and I think a few of their shots go a bit wide as the implication of what you've said settles in. And when the kind of smoke finally settles, you'll realize that you are standing just fine and that the wall is all the worse for it.
This being exactly what he expected, he'll peel off and immediately start walking toward them and say,
What has been won?
The leader of this group will just say, a place in our brotherhood, a right to claim what we want when we want. If you see something and you know what's ripe for the taking, I'll help you along, provided you're willing to split the spoils. Everyone gets what's his, and he earns what's his.
There's just a slow pan of Crow looking around and meeting direct eye contact with everyone he can.
And if that was you who dealt with the Scuggler, you obviously aren't afraid of blood, making a less than reputable name for yourself. I promise we got a good use for people like that. A job.
Speak it.
He will consider it for a moment and then look over to Rostavan and say, this is business for the family. You in?
Do I have to stand in front of the wall like him?
We all did.
Oh, fine. As long as this job pays well.
Wouldn't be a job if it didn't. They'll start.
You'd be surprised.
Oh man, that's very funny.
Have you heard about this asshole carting around empty oxygen cans down on 5th Avenue?
Cut the one crushing someone's dog.
Art. Oh no, the dogs. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Now we can get
God
that
damn
out.
it.
Fuck.
No, we already completed that quest. You can see we crossed it off.
Oh.
Oh. Okay. Well, shit. I
Yeah.
guess you did. Okay.
That's done.
Rostovan will take his place against the wall.
Yeah, perfect. As they once again ready their flintlocks. So again, the challenge is 2, 3, 4. I think the
All
difference
right.
is mental stress.
First volley.
No problem. Rostavan, your steel encased head just kind of maintains a forward glance. And I even like the idea that there's a point where one of the people shoots at it, and it just ricochets completely askew.
And I want to create advantage for use either this next one or the one after.
Yeah.
He's going to say, upon this, them completely, seemingly, not just not flinching, but a few of them seeming a little bit off mark. He'll say, "I'm going to make this a provoke advantage."
Okay, challenge of
But I'm
2.
gonna have him say it first anyway. He'll say, "Really, guys? You're not zeroed in by now?"
Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah. 2 uses, so you can use it in the next one.
Man, what the fuck?
You,
One?
yeah, it's 3 and a 4, so 3 next.
Okay.
You'll see them aim a bit surer this time, and they will cut out an outline, but again, you remain unmoved.
Astron stands there with his hands folded behind his back, unmoving like a statue, and he'll wait for the final shot.
Yeah, the final one is a 4.
Got it.
Last volley by 8 people. The smoke clears, and
Oof.
that's the only one, but it's only 2. None of you took consequences, so you can get all the stress out of your seats. I just wanted to see if you took any consequences during this.
Cool. I like to think the last one, some guy purposely wings off the side of his mask or something.
Yeah, for sure. There's like a
For
ringing
flavor.
that
'Cause
yeah
they
just
just-
echoes. Yeah. It almost seems if it's spiteful, but go ahead.
Yeah, he'll call out. Got a little close with that last one there, fellas, but looks like I'm no worse for the wear.
Got yourself a dependable kind of hardware, don't you?
Yeah, I guess it does have its uses sometimes.
Almost as you're saying this, like a bunch of interested, like how men look at cars, you will see 5 of them start to kind of like look at your mask and kind of get a sense of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job. You do it yourself?
No.
Know where I can get one?
You wouldn't want one even if I could tell you.
Yeah.
Trust me, you don't need it either.
I'll be needed when an axe comes down from my neck. He said you don't want it. A few of the other ones will try to get him to be quiet. All right. 2 new proven recruits. It's a good day. The leader will just kind of consider for a moment and say, as I was mentioned before, job's gotta pay, and this one, oh, it's gonna. Looking for Lily Morton. That name mean anything to you?
It cuts to the 2 of us, and you just hear wind whistling through a canyon.
Yeah. Yep.
No, that's fine. Like, it's not. You can just say as much.
Of course I know Lily. Here, watch this.
No, it's
Yeah, this I know Lily.
yep. There will
I
be
know
a
Lily Martin.
yeah. There will be a Martin.
Name's completely
I didn't say that.
wrong. Oh. I know Lily Martin though, so.
Of course, we dated once. She doesn't like talking about it, so don't bring it up. There'll be a moment. The guy doesn't really seem to take it one way or the other. He'll just say, "Out of town, got it." Of course, you know who Lily Martin is.
Which I has a big
thought about-
device.
He's got a
Just all the way across town. It's like a big horn thing.
He's got a curly horn, yeah. He's got a series of them. He's pulling levers.
Stupid Whoville device. Out of
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss fucking
The
book.
camera pans out, and the sailor he's lying next to under the cover says, "I can't believe you're still horny."
Oh man!
Yeah, there you go.
What do you feed that thing?
Fucking God.
Sorry.
I hate it so much.
Upsetting.
He will just say, "Out of town." I get it. And really, she's nobody. It's her mother, Aaliyah Morton, merchant officer. There's 5 of those in this city, and each of them are worth their weight in gold. Which is why we're gonna get Lily and separate her mother from some of it.
I know her mother though. That's not.
He will just say, no other men have tried and they've failed, but seeing as you 2 are as stalwart as you are, I'm thinking I might bring you in on this. You get your cut, we get ours, and everyone's happier for it.
Got it. So it's a standard kidnapping.
Yeah, followed by a bit of extortion, why not? I'll see if she knows anything. These types always do.
Alright.
He will just kind of nod and say, Be back here tonight. We'll have it all figured out. And if I were you, I'd stay away from the pier. At least until they forget what you look like.
Crow gives his affirmation by staring the man in the eye for a long time and then turning and walking elsewhere.
Yeah. You will see the other group just kind of starting to dissipate as well, all of you going down your different alleyways until the gang that was there is completely dissipated. It's just the wall, again, littered with lead and casings that have fallen to the floor. With that, go ahead, please.
Yeah, by happenstance, we can just happen across town and link back up with her. But sort of on the way, I would like to try to create advantage of my own about the Morton family by doing my canvassing I do.
Yeah, were you thinking investigate? Yeah. I don't feel like this would be too hard, so I must have the challenge at a 1, and then if you succeed with style, you'll get more. We'll just go with that. like we said, exactly that. As the man had said, Lily Morton and the Morton family are members of the merchant officer class. What that means is that they are the ones that make sure everything in this city is working as it needs to. So if there is a large or substantial enough deal, they always get their cut and they always make sure that the people need to get paid due. In terms of the Morton family in particular, you know that they typically deal in arms, so cannons, rifles, things of that sort. You also know that with success with style, there's a bit of concern with the Morton family. They're rising a bit too quickly, and they seem to have amassed a substantial hoard of wealth, seemingly overnight. So I think with success with style, new wealth is definitely on the table, and a bit of questioning into where that wealth would have come from. Is there anything else you want to know? Like, I know that was kind of a broad overview, and I want to see like if there's something more actionable you want.
No, I have that to use.
Okay. Sound like nouveau rich, merchant officer, things like that. Okay. So as Rosvan and Crow head back towards the light of the city, we will follow Rakote and the Pale Lady. Rakote, you've succeeded with style. These people can deliver it. Do you want the opening shot to be them just like setting the package down in the office?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Rakote's standing back, watching, clutching his cane, just sort of stoically brooding over them as they do all the hard work.
Yeah, perfect. You'll see Diedrich trying to like push some stuff out of the way, but it just kind of like won't move. So he just eventually settles on settling back and looking at as the people do their work. Wasn't there a fourth one? He says, looking at you.
He just looks with only his eyes sliding over to him. He says, "Was."
Oh, that's all right. Just means I won't be able to turn the product as quickly as I was hoping. Should probably get a cart made.
He'd say, "A cart, yes, or you can establish a rapport with these fine young gentlemen and get them on a schedule."
Yeah, but you gotta pay people. You don't have to pay a cart. Business, he says, tapping his temples.
He'll say, "You put an awful lot of faith in that aging body of yours, Diedrich."
He will look at you like you're calling the kettle black.
Yeah. He'll say, "There is a matter of payment for my services."
He will nod and say, Yeah, I got you something good. The crown, of course, and he'll give you again 1 crown. So, just in the interest of everyone getting like leveling up the same, I would typically want the gold to be dispersed evenly. Are you okay with that?
I intend to disperse it evenly.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So everyone can add 1 for the time being. He will kind of go in back and eventually come away with a series of maps, which he will present to you. Newly drafted. Well, a few months back, but that's good as new.
He'll say, and where do they lead?
He will just say, anywhere you need to get in the shallows. Few routes I drafted myself. Now, I'm sure any captain worth his weight in salt is already way ahead of this, but I promise you, the shallows, they change. There's always a new tidbit to hold on to. This will make sure you don't miss out. And ostensibly what this will do is it will add a +2 to the physique challenge if you wanted to leave the shallows, because it'll give you a better route out. So this is chipping away at the +5, or sorry, plus the 25. So currently you're at 5 physique, 3 will for leaving the shallows.
Okay.
I'll-
This guy's Diedrich. I'm just keeping track of it on my own sheet.
Yep.
So this is +2 with physique.
Yep. So currently +5 physique, +3 will.
Okay.
I guess the 25 and a 25 challenge.
Excellent.
While you're talking, the Pale Lady will take the maps assumptively and she will look over them.
Yeah, I mean, to your eyes, I don't know if you recall the maps, but he was right. The shallows change. That seems to happen quite a bit here on the water as islands come up from the ocean or cast down into it. Islands float in, and new masses just appear overnight. So this new map in front of you seems to reflect that.
Yeah, she'll look toward parts of the shallows that she hasn't been to in the better part of 50 years, just kind of curiously looking at the land masses and recalling what they used to look like.
Yeah, it's probably a strange thing, especially having been under the ocean for so long, to have your entire life, your entire area mapped out in front of you. But it's there and it's real, and for now, it's dependable.
She will bend down to show Rakote, pointing at the water, and she'll say, there was an island here.
He'll say, I'm sure at one point.
Yes.
He'll
She'll say that like it's kind of novel.
Yeah, he'll attempting to make some kind of positive impression with this very difficult to understand creature. He'll say, were you fond of this island?
Indifferent. But it is gone now.
Uh, he'll look back from the map to you and say, indifferent, yes, of course.
He is right. The shallows change. They breathe. She will look to this awful, smelly gentleman, and
I didn't say he stinks.
Nobody said
Well-
that.
Oh,
He stinks.
well, his home stinks, so he
Definitely
takes
has
the stink
halitosis.
with him.
yeah.
And she will thank him by just kind of rolling up the map with surprising dexterity for fish fingers, and she will tuck it into her many webbed folds.
Yeah, he will just smile a bit and say, "You need maps for anything else, you know where to find me. Or, well, if you need anything, really."
You will
I have
likely be gone by the time I return.
Have you heard something? He'll say, looking at you. Because if you heard something, we're business associates. You owe it to me.
She'll just look down at Rakote expectantly.
He'll say, you are in no imminent danger. I'm sure that you don't already know about. She has lived 1,000 of your lifetimes.
Great, I got one, and I'm trying to keep it going. So,
suggest you avoid the plague.
all right. Yeah. Maybe I'll get myself a diving suit.
He'll say, well, I'm sure you know where to barter for one. Now then, Diedrich, be well. I'm sure this isn't the last we'll see of each other.
I hope not. If I ever get one of those suits on, you better believe it's going to have oxygen in it, real oxygen. I'm going to find that shit. I'm not going to just sit around and waiting for somebody else to. He'll just keep mumbling to himself as you head out. At that point, you can see Crow and Rostavan approaching from the other end.
They return.
Yeah, Rakote will stand there, just in that uncomfortable fucking way that he does. I'm picturing like every not how the Joker stands in the Dark Knight, but how somebody who thinks that like he's being cool like the Joker stands in the Dark Knight stands. That's Rakote.
I'm joking, baby.
I'm not joking, baby. Crow and Restaurant walk up with bags over their shoulders with big money signs on them, and girls on their arms.
We
Nice.
stopped at the bank.
They said
bank.
they weren't big enough for all the money we have. So we're starting our own bank.
What are you losers doing, huh? Huh? Walk up to your
shows up
start
too.
poking him a few times, huh?
Yeah, tell him, babe.
That's what the
Shut
girls sound like, unfortunately.
Don't play with your food.
Oh, I told you girls not to speak.
Yes.
I paid you.
Hey,
not to
boss,
speak.
are these people giving you trouble? These two strapping gentlemen show up. They are so fucking hot.
They're wearing shirts with our faces on them.
If they're fucking dabbing their chests with a damp cloth,
They're
just
wearing,
sponge up.
they're wearing shirts with the image of us walking up with the things over our shoulders and the legs on our arms, as though that was taken like a picture and then they somehow printed it.
Yeah, Rakote will greet them with, "Gentlemen."
Hey, how'd the cart go?
He'll say, "We've received yet another payment, and actually made progress towards our inevitable escape from the shallows."
All right.
He'll say, "And I trust the two of you found the north satisfactory."
Aye.
He'll say, "Very well. I need to retrieve the last of our payment from Colette." He'll say, "Before I continue on to the next endeavor."
Crow's waiting for him to
Itch.
assign them a bad job again.
Did you find people to do some of these endeavors?
He says, "Oh yes, I've I can't managed to find quite the strapping young lot." He'll say,
You fucked sailors.
"Not fucked, made love." And he cries a single tear. It just strolls down his cheek. It meant a lot to him. Like, it was nothing for them, but this was everything to him.
I felt wanted. Do you know how important that is?
He'll approach, and I do have to say too, while Rakote does tend to have a very flat delivery, I violently threw up on break, and
Oh no!
my throat is so burning that I feel like for the rest of the night, Rakote is going to sound actually pissed.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I don't want to get super into it. Ever since I got COVID, I have this really bad thing that happens and then causes me to
Oh
throw up.
man,
A lot.
Jesus Christ, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess just for like I just feel like I have this like throat thing now, and I can pinpoint when it started happening, and it was when I got COVID.
And
So
this
I
is
don't
my
know,
life until otherwise decided.
yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
It's just a thing that happens sometimes.
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this isn't me like seething. This is I just literally am finding the voice in that lower register is kind of painful. Um, so he will approach and he'll say, "It was a good idea, though." He'll say, "It was something of an amateur captain move to have you accompany me in a laboring capacity." He'll say, "Despite heated emotions, I don't want either of you to feel that I'm taking advantage of the strengths that you offer me, but I hope that we do understand that there is a degree of cooperation that is necessary to make this work, and have all of us see to what we want accomplished."
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. We spent enough time on the Isle of Rats, and there's not really much else to help us there except ourselves. But now we have people around, so we don't have to worry about that as much.
He'll say, "Aye." Uh, he'll say, "Well, is there any follow-up that you need to attend to from your exploits in the north?"
Yeah, at some point.
In the eve.
He'll say, "Huh." And he'll sort of he'll start walking, and then he'll kind of stop and he'll turn and he'll say, "Do I need to brace for how much trouble you've gotten yourselves into?"
Yeah, we're gonna burn the entire town down. He looks completely serious. Hold on. Wait, hold on.
Come on.
There you
Nice.
go. Where's your deceive?
Crow turns to Rostavan.
Rakote runs and dives into the water, fully believing that there's already some kind of chemical agent on him to help the burn.
It's a beautiful swan dive. He gets a 9 from everyone on that one.
Oh my god, that was the -4.
You really
not
don't know.
Not a single drop comes back up from his perfect emergence into the water. It's as
Neither
smooth as
does
a stone.
Rakote. He stays down there.
It just looks like a sheet of glass as he does not disturb the surface.
The devs did not at all program any splash for this, even remotely. This water does not react to him entering.
You're saying something, Declan.
Crow is going to rotate his head directly horizontally, not even attempting to investigate that empathetically, and he'll say,
"'Twas a kidnapping. Thou saidst it aloud. Pay attention."
Rakote, having not been able to divine what Rastavan was saying, obviously believing wholeheartedly, he'll stop and he'll say, "A kidnapping."
Yeah, I was joking earlier.
We can do that.
He'll say, "For some reason I preferred the fire." He'll say, "And you're doing this in exchange for money, at least?"
That's what they said. If not, maybe I will start burning something.
He'll sort of tap his fingernail on the cane, and before he continues to walk again, he'll say, "Well, don't get caught."
Well, after a stint on the Isle of Rats, I'd say we both know that by now.
Yeah, and Kane might, like I said, I'm gonna go get the other half of the payment from the divers.
You can do that whenever.
yeah.
I'm gonna be straightforward with you. You can do that now. You can do that later if you want to keep moving. Find
Okay.
another quest. You did this pretty quickly. You guys
Sure.
still have your afternoon, and then I would let the other group know, hey, the job's coming up soon. But you still
Okay.
have time right now.
All right. Yeah, and then Max probably due to talk to Johann Sebastian Bach. At some point.
Oh God.
I use my afternoon to kill Carl Linnaeus.
He can only be knocked out.
That's bullshit.
No, I'm just kidding.
He's unconscious.
Well, I guess we're closest to decorated officers march through the merchant's quarter. We could encounter that as we step out of the
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I know these are very regimented, but like you never have to stick around. You guys can like do whatever you want. You already subverted the fucking fetch quest and set up a extortion bracket for this diving family. So obviously do what you want. But you will as you are. Go ahead.
I guess the other thing that I was looking at was the one next to the diving suit family. I'm thinking that rich people paying a lot might be Rakote's starting thing.
Sure. Where do you want to go?
Maybe we'll go there instead.
Okay.
I think given what happened with Crow, Rakote might intentionally steer away from the decorated officers.
Sure.
I'm just gonna walk straight back into the fucking Conquer Beast one.
Yeah, the officers have been walking for 2 days straight. They haven't stopped.
You see a fog wall in front of the Conquer Beast, Declan. You already initiated the boss fight. In that case, Rakote, as you are leaving and kind of corralling the rest of the group, you do see a number of officials. The Coin Guard is their appropriate title, heading north with a series of manacles. They seem to be kind of conferring amongst themselves, nodding, looking at a list, and then moving further north past you. But they don't pay any special mind as you do, as you move. So that's the faintest idea of what's happening up there as you continue south, passing the central square, which is at this point really livened up as all the people from the dock have finished their work and are just milling about for an evening lunch. But you do not stop. Instead, you continue south and are once again in the kind of wealthier district of this. And it is not long before you hear the loud sound of glass shattering and a man's kind of gruff voice shouting from inside a massive estate, the doors of which are completely open.
Yeah, Rakote will just sort of trundle in to investigate that.
Yeah, as you do, the entire floor, or the stairs leading up to this place, are covered in glass bottles. They are all drained, but they are all lining up the stairs, and it makes it almost impossible for you to move without knocking one over. Athletics challenge of 4.
All right. That's about right.
Yeah. Immediately, a waterfall of bottles just start falling and shattering, and there's almost a domino effect as they continue pouring down past you to the rest of your group behind you. And the shouting man's voice will eventually stop, and out from it will stumble a man, completely like half covered, kind of disjointed, and with glazed eyes. He'll look down at you and say, "What? Too much noise?"
He'll say, "You seem distressed, my friend."
Well, I paid for something and I can't find it. Yeah, I'm a little distressed, and I'm tired of people like you stumbling in saying that I'm causing trouble. I could have afforded half this block if I wanted to, but I offered you the privilege of being my neighbor. And at this point, he will reach down and grab a bottle that is half full and drain it completely. Riffing deliciously. That's hilarious. But he will drain it and then throw the bottle off camera.
Yeah, he'll pop a lime down into his Corona with
Yeah.
his thumb before he drains it.
He's a fucking drunk in a waste house, but he still pops a lime quarter into his fucking beer bottle. I have some class.
The pale lady, bending down to come into the door frame because apparently we're just waddling into the house. She has no qualms with that. We'll say to Rakote with her very accurate medicine roll. He appears drunk.
Rakote, who just walked through an avalanche of beer bottles, will say, at least.
I'm still standing, aren't I? He'll say, just kind of looking between the two of you.
Is this your friend?
He'll say, not yet. And he'll look to the wealthy but drunk man. He'll say, yes, your estate is quite remarkable, but I might posit to you, if you don't want the intrusion of your neighbors, you could simply close your gate.
It's hot, sweltering even. And I got 2 good doors I want to cross breeze. He'll really struggle for the word.
He'll say, yes, I see that you live how you want to. Well, I am a man who is becoming increasingly known for acquiring things. What is it that you purchased but don't have?
I didn't say I didn't have it. He definitely did. He will continue and say, it's just a big house and it's a tiny bottle.
He'll
Crink,
say,
crink, 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 as Rastavan wades through the physics objects to get up to the front.
If there is ever a time where Rastavan were to open a door, there's straight up a closet where they would just fall out. Like cartoonishly, so it is absurd how many bottles are in this estate.
Rakote will say, so it's here, but you cannot find it. I understand.
Yeah, and my good-for-nothing boys ain't doing anything about it.
He'll just look around and he'll say, these bottles have some significance to you? Is there a reason that you keep them around?
Well, I keep them around for what's inside of them. And he'll, look to you, Rastavan, like, can you believe this guy? As if you're his friend. He has no reason to believe so.
I still have my hand on the cabinet door, just held there, staring over at him.
When Rastavan came in, this guy pointed and went, there he is, having never seen him before in his life.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have to explain to you how important, let's just say damn right delicious, a Viella Crew is. Red grapes, he'll say, just acting as if you're a toddler.
So that's a fancy wine.
Yep.
I see. Is that something that I could appraise with resources like we did back at the other?
Oh, hell yes! I
Right.
think we have precedent for that.
What is the challenge to understand how the Viella Crew challenge, please?
Yeah. So what I would say is, are you going to start searching, or do you want to create advantage? What's your goal here?
I guess I would want to create an advantage to find it.
Yeah. Okay. I would set the challenge. Let's see. Set the challenge at a 2.
At a -2, wonderful.
That should be easy.
Woof.
I'm gonna kill you.
I think what you would know is that while the bottle itself may be nondescript, there is a definitive wax seal on top of this thing, kind of like a red, maybe even burnt umber kind of deal. And if you were to find that, you would easily be able to identify it. There's maybe even a little bit of gold leaf kind of applied to the top of it. It's a very distinct bottle. In that way.
All right. Rakote will say, yes, it is very hot. And he'll say, God, would you drink this warm or would you drink this cold? He'd probably drink it warm.
Yeah, red's hot.
You want to heat it up but then put an ice cube in it.
He straight up rolls initiative. Let's do this. He doesn't like the way you're talking.
Heat it up.
I like to microwave it and then I put an ice cube in it.
I like the skin on my wine.
Yeah.
I like the chew on it.
Rakote will say, and a Viela crew would be refreshing to you. And he'll say,
Well, to anybody with taste. Again, looking to Rostavan as if you're his best friend.
My hand limply falls from the cabinet door, still staring at this guy.
The Pale Lady will chime in. She'll say, despite feeling contrary, the excessive drinking will actually cause the average human body temperature to drop.
yeah.
I'll find someone to warm me up. That's not my
Oh.
problem. He'll say, just gotta
Looking
wait.
to Rostavan again.
I know.
It's not our problem.
Rakote will say, yes, and for a very special, valuable glass of wine, he'll say, I believe that I could help you locate it, even in this collection you've acquired.
Mhm.
He'll say, but I am a busy man, and testing the already thin patience of my crew. So if I am to help you do this, he'll say, I would ask for a substantial, he'll say, a substantial reward in exchange. Viela crew, you understand, is worth its weight in gold every sip.
He'll just nod, just kind of like, yeah, this is business. You can see him trying to shift into more of a professional disposition, and he'll just say, well, I can't promise you a crew, but there's some good stuff hanging out around here, stuff that I know where to find it. You help me find mine, I'll give you something to remember me by. And what that would do is it would be +2 will when you're traversing the seas.
Sure. Rakote will turn around to the crew then, and he'll say, at further risk of a mutiny, would any of you like to assist me in helping this man find his wine?
What are we getting paid?
He'll look back and he'll say,
Rostavan scratches his balls and then extends his hand for money.
yeah.
Rostavan, as you are, like, you've held this door open for a while, there will be a sound of shifting glass as an old man's head erupts from the bottom of this glass pile. And he'll just kind of breathe deep and be like, too bright. Shut the door.
What the?
Shut it!
I'll shut the door.
He's my guest. That
That's my dad.
explains anything. Yeah.
Rakote will say, we grow ever closer to being able to leave the shallows.
Crow points and says,
You will purchase one.
He says,
It will cost you 100 crowns.
Jesus.
It's absurd. I like not to immediately like yes,
No,
no,
you're-
but like this is such an absurd item that this dude has. Like nobody should have this shit.
Sure. But
Are you gonna lie
Do-
to him?
I was gonna say, do I
Yeah,
have
hit
maybe
that
can I maybe roll like a contacts for somebody that like bootlegs maybe bootlegs liquor and is selling an inferior product under a superior label?
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I think we could do something with that.
All right. What's the challenge?
That's very good. That's very good. Let's set the challenge. I mean, this is a specialty item. Challenge of 3.
Challenge of 3. All right. And that's the advantage from before. That can't count towards this.
Oh God, what was the exact wording for the challenge? That was
It was appraising the wine.
Yeah, that's more about investigation if you were trying to search.
Sure.
So I think
Okay.
this is separate.
All right. Well, we'll try this. Woo!
Nice. Like I said, you can find anything here on the Isle if you're willing to pay for it. So yeah, you'd have to go a little bit out of your way, but you could probably find someone. You can.
Yeah, Rakote, understanding this, will almost it'll part his lips to say like, "There's no way in hell I could afford that," and he'll say, "Yes, I doubt our friend will even notice that I'm gone."
As you say that, there is the sound of glass again shattering upstairs, and you'll hear the man say, "I told you to be quiet. I got a headache."
What
God.
color are these bottles?
Kind of like literally any color. It is a rainbow, and as the light hits it, it just cascades like all this light around the room.
Pale Lady is collecting shards.
Yeah, as you're collecting shards, if you were to turn your head upwards, you realize there's a winding staircase, and at the top of it are 2 boys, one 10, the other 12, just kind of looking down, and one of them has what passes as a bat in his hand, just kind of looking down at you guys.
He's gonna come at us. Who's gonna fight him?
No, he seems to, they seem to have been playing a little bit of a baseball situation, which has been completely ruined with their dad's yell upwards. And now they just sit quietly looking down at you, a strange kind of creature in their house.
She looks up at them, having no idea how to interact with children, and she will just announce, "There are children."
I
And then-
harpoon him
Oh!
in self-defense.
He'll just kind of wave his hand and say, "They're no trouble." Unless they want to be, and he'll look up, but at that, they're already kind of ran back along the halls. You kind of hear their feet against the tile.
Pale Lady will consider this for a moment, having paused in her item collection, and then she will slowly start collecting pretty pieces of glass again.
So, you gonna help? Or am I just gonna... I don't even want to shut the door. The breeze is nice, isn't it? And I'll just sit there.
Who's he talking to?
Rakote, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Rakote, sorry, I thought that was to the back.
No, I should have said something.
No, you're fine. Rakote will say, yes, we will help. In fact, I can guarantee you will have a glass of Vila Cru. He'll say, by the end of the evening.
You have an empathy of 1 coming your way.
I can fail that. God
No!
damn it.
Oh, fuck.
Let's see.
Why'd you say it like that? I'll say it just kind of...
What do you mean by that? Can I tap the aspect that this guy is drunk off his ass?
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
Oh no.
Big spender.
I mean, I have to re-roll it. I'll fucking fail.
I'm so scared.
If you match, he will say, "Help me here and now," or else you have to get out. So he wouldn't give you the chance to go talk to your contact if you match. That's the way this would work. If you succeed, obviously, you'd be able to leave and do your usual business.
Yeah.
And if you fail, you'll just be kicked out.
All right. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
Fuck.
Yeah. So currently you need to stay and help.
All right, fine.
I like that energy. Ricote's had a hell of a morning.
Yeah.